Hi,
It's going to be
Hi,
eternally
Lori.
recorded.
Hello.
Hi, Regina. Hi, Jim.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Carolee.
Hi. Regina has the best backgrounds. Just fabulous.
This is a picture
Well,
I
you
took
wished you
myself
were
in
there.
Hawaii last year.
Well, I knew her parents, and they were very nice people. So her background's good.
I did too, actually.
What is going on here?
And we know what is
Where?
What's happening, Rabbi?
coming of the Mashiach.
Okay, something weird is going
Oh,
on.
Lori.
What the
Lori,
Yeah,
What's
Um,
happening?
I know.
I left a CD in the office for
I
you.
know. I talked to Susan. I'm going to get it on Tuesday.
It says
Excellent.
live on YouTube. Where?
So,
Excellent.
Rabbi, what's the issue?
It said you're on YouTube.
I know it says it, but then okay, now I see it. No, because
Delay, remember? Delay.
No, it's not that. It showed me something completely different. There were ads for something, and it was I don't know, whatever.
So, Jordan, how do you
up
get
there
your
now.
microphone to get through the right speak or the left speaker? When you're speaking, I feel it's canted to the left.
I know he's been told that every week, but
No, but I'm curious. Well, I'm sure that he can adjust it.
something's wrong. No, something's wrong.
I don't know if it's wrong, but it's probably.
Let's move on to the rest of the evening.
Very sensitive.
You're right
about
in the
his
center for
microphone.
me, Jordan.
He's very sensitive about his microphone. So, hi, Doug.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. That's
Shabbat
better.
shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Hi, Doug. Welcome.
Hi, Doug.
A lot of people have their video on.
Dr. Doug.
A lot of
You
people
did
have
a
their
great
video
job
on.
yesterday.
You know why? Those are students
thank
from
you.
Cal Baptist. They don't want to be singled out.
Ah. For those
Awesome.
students from Cal Baptist.
Most of those are students. They had there they are. Hi. We're not going to eat you.
Yes, and
Hi.
And all you students, you can't share in the only we usually have after in service or in sanctuary services.
I can't have Alan Stein show them the Torah.
Nope.
That's right.
That's
Not
Yeah.
only they can't eat, they can't see the Torah.
Yeah, that's the way it goes.
Well, you'll have to come back sometime.
Yeah, exactly. In about a year or two.
No,
The new version of Zoom has it so you can see 49 people or 50 people on the screen at once instead of the previous 29. So
I
it's going
can
to
see a lot of people on mine.
Well, I just
Well, you've
updated
got a
it
big
tonight.
screen.
You've always been able to see 49.
Hello,
That's not new.
You
All right,
can't
well,
how
Hi.
big
I've never had it.
your thing is.
Bodie? Hi, Bodie.
Oh, Bodie, welcome. Happy
What's your-
birthday.
Oh,
What's your address, Bodie?
Thank you. 3405 Ramona Drive.
Ramona. Okay. I was trying to figure out which house it is. He lives right around the corner from me now. I saw him jogging the other day or something like, right?
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
was-
recognize him because he had a mask on. Hey, good for you for having a mask on, right?
Hard to wear a mask while you're jogging.
What did you do to celebrate your birthday, Bodie?
my roommates just watched some Doctor Sleep. It's a Stephen King movie.
Uh-huh.
Dr. Sleep.
Cake? Did you eat cake?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's good.
Well, let them eat cake.
Exactly. All right. We're going to give it a couple more minutes because we operate, for those here from Cal Baptist, we operate on Jewish Standard Time, which means nothing starts on time.
By the
People
way,
start
hello.
to come in at, the time it's supposed to start.
Hello, Andrea. Andrea, your camera's not on.
Well,
Which is-
maybe she doesn't want it to be on.
It is. Oh, hi there. How you doing?
Yes, I turned it off for a second. I figured not everyone needed to see me blow my nose. It's one of the benefits of Zoom. Oh, wow.
A lot of
Hi,
echo.
Ezra.
Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos, Ezra.
A lot of echo there.
Echo.
Echo. Right. Hi, Crohn's, all of you there. Hi,
Andrea,
Oliver.
Andrea, the Zoom worked on Monday beautifully.
Yay, I figured. I was like, Carolee didn't call, which means it worked.
Yeah, I didn't call you.
I'm really glad it did. I'm glad I was able to fix it for you. It was so easy. Great. Perfect.
Andrea got me a new Zoom with the password already in it for the class on Monday evening. And it worked. And for me, that's a big deal.
Okay, I think we'll get started.
Are you muting us or should we mute ourselves?
If you could mute yourselves, that would be lovely. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Good to see everybody tonight. Our Torah portion this week is Noah, which is an apt Torah portion for discussing veganism tonight. Indeed, it is only after the flood that, as a concession to human beings, God allows us to eat animals. Beforehand, we were supposed to be vegetarians. Tonight, we're so pleased to have as a guest speaker, Sarah Eifler, who will discuss veganism and Judaism. We're also very happy to welcome students from Cal Baptist. And we are going to begin with our first song with Jim, our guest soloist tonight, with Hine Matov, How Good It Is to Sit Together as Brothers and Sisters.
Hine Matov U'Manaim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad 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 Hine Matov U'Manaim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad.
And Marilyn Orens is going to light our Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you, Marilyn. Jim is going to lead us in the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziat Mitzrayim Kivanu v'achata v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'yahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim. So you know the story of the flood. God decides that the world is just too awful. So God is going to destroy it with a flood. One man, Noah, and his family, along with pairs of every animal, will be saved. Noah is instructed to build an ark to weather the storm. It rains for 40 days and for 40 nights. When the rain stops, Noah sends out a raven to check and see if it is safe to disembark. Why a raven? It turns out that ravens are very intelligent. According to the National Geographic, experiments testing the problem-solving capabilities of ravens have shown these birds have cognition on a par with people. They can even plan for the future. They're also highly adaptable, able to survive in a wide variety of habitats, including, it seems, very wet ones. The raven feeds on carrion as well as vegetation, so could potentially obtain food from, floating carcasses. As it went back and forth from the ark, Noah could observe its movements for several days to ascertain the viability of the earth following the flood. And we continue with Lechu Neranena. Let us come together and praise God.
We'll start with a very short nigun. Yada bim bam, yada bim bam, yada bim bam, yada da da yada da da ba, yada bim bam, yada da bim bam, yada da 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 da, hey, yada bim bam, yada da bim bam, yada bim bam, yada da da yada da da, yada bim bam, yada da bim bam, yada da 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 da. Yada bim bam, yada bim bam, yada bim bam, yada da 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 da, yada bim bam, yada bim bam, yada da 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 da. Hey, yada bim bam, yada bim bam, yada bim bam, yada da 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 da, yada bim bam, yada bim bam, yada da 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 da. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Naria, naria, letzuri shenu, lekadma vanatoda. Narina, narina, letzuri shenu, bizmi rovitavilo. Lechune ranina, lechune ranina, lechune ranina, l'Adonai. Lechune ranina, lechune ranina, lechune ranina, l'Adonai. Naria, naria, letzuri shenu, biz. Sorry about that. Kadma fana betoda. Naria, naria, letzuri shenu, bis birotati lado. Lechune ranina, lechune ranina, lechune ranina, l'Adonai. Lechune ranina, lechune ranina, lechune ranina, l'Adonai.
Noah also sends out a dove to check on conditions after the flood. What do we know about doves? They are fast flyers. Their long, pointed wings are almost falcon-like in appearance, while their pointed tails are longer than those of any other doves. These design features enable the birds to fly fast, Mourning doves have been clocked at 55 miles per hour. When they lay eggs, it is always just 2. They have good co-parenting skills. Males and females work together to feed their new babies something called crop milk or pigeon milk for the first few days of their life. Rich in protein and fat, it resembles cottage cheese. Weaning is fast, though. By the 4th day of life, the diet starts to segue to seeds, and by 2 weeks, the youngsters are nearly fledged. And doves mate for life. Finally, as Sarah, our speaker, pointed out to me, doves tend to stick close to home as long as there's a food source nearby. If the dove could find a reliable food source, no one knew that she would not come back. She returned the first and the second time she was sent out, but on the 3rd time, that's when she did not come back. And that's when no one knew that she had found another food source and it was okay to get off the boat. We continue with the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba v'yalma divrach chilutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon v'chayerecho beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imeru amen. Yehesh me rabba mevarach, yalla mulal me'al maya, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitbar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadah, v'yitaleh, v'yitalah, shemei dekudasha brichu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, Tush bichata v'nechemata tahamin ran bi'alma v'yimeru. Amen.
We continue with the call to worship the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai hamivorach. 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 Baruch Adonai hamivorach. Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamivorach. Le'olam va'ed. Praise be the one to whom praise is due. Praise be to God, praise to you. Praise be the one to whom praise is due. Praise be to God, praise to you. Baruch Adonai hamivorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamivorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Hu et Adonai hamivorach. Baruch Hu et Adonai hamivorach. Baruch Adonai hamivorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamivorach le'olam va'ed. I am calling you. We are seeking you. We are one with you. forever.
There are two blessings preceding the Shema. The first one acknowledges that God created the world, and at night that God created the stars and the evening. And then the second blessing is that out of love, God gave us the Torah. So for the first blessing, I'm going to read In Praise by Ruth Bryn. It's from Genesis 1:2. Hail the hand that scattered space with stars, wrapped whirling world in bright blue blanket, air, made worlds within worlds, elements in earth, souls within skins, everyone a teeming universe, every tree a system of semantics, and push beyond probability to place consciousness on this cooling crust of burning rock. Oh, praise that hand, mind, heart, soul, power or force that's so enclosed, separated, limited planets, trees, humans, yet breaks all bounds and borders to lavish on us light, love, life, this trembling glory. Ahavat Olam acknowledges that out of love, God gave us Torah.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael amcha avta, Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu lemadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbenu v'kumenu nasiach behukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki... To change... No change? Ki heim chayenu v'orech yamenu V'yorech yameinu, uvahem negem yomam v'layla. V'ahavattecha al tasir bimenu le'olamim, baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
We join together in the Shema.
Yai da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 yai da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 yai da 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 ya da 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 yai da 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 ya da 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 Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 לעולם ועד. שם כבוד מלכותו, לעולם ועד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד.
Carolee, will you please lead us in the Ve'ahavta? Just as God loves us and gives us Torah, we in turn love God.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'chol nafshecha u'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh Asher Anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha b'veitecha ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני Adonai Elohechem.
Thank you, Carol Lee.
Oh, my pleasure.
Why is Noah called righteous? Well, there are many reasons, but according to one of the midrashes, it's because, quote, he fed the creatures of the Holy One and became like his creator. Noah apparently exhausted himself taking care of and feeding the animals in the ark. Rabbi Levi said, the whole 12 months that Noah was in the ark, neither he nor his family tasted sleep because they were responsible for feeding the animals. Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana said, he brought branches for the elephants. Now, some ate in the second hour of the night and some in the third hour of the day. Hence, you know that Noah did not taste a bit of sleep. Rabbi Yochanan said, one time when Noah was late in feeding the lion bit him and he went away limping. Rabbi David Seidenberg, commenting on this midrash, tells us, it took tremendous skill and knowledge about each animal for Noah to be able to fulfill his task. According to one midrash, Noah's knowledge about the needs of the other species is itself a sign of Noah's close relationship to God and a consequence of his mission. According to other midrashim, it was because of Noah's capacity to care for other creatures that he merited having a relationship with God. In either case, Noah had to understand a tremendous amount in order to undertake the task of feeding all the animals that were with him. We continue with the Mi Chamocha, the song that the Israelites sang when they crossed the Sea of Reeds on dry land into freedom.
Ya die 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 ya da die 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 ya die 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 ya da die 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 ya die 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 ya da die 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 ya die 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 da da die 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 mi chamocha bolim Adonai mi kamocha tedabak Kodesh Norah Tehi Lord Oh safe Ele Norah Tehi Lord Oh safe Ele Yadai Dai 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 Yadai Dai 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 Yadai Dai 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 Yadai 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 Ma'alechutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Miram Ze'eli anu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'eh Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai dai 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 Yadai 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 dai dai dai.
Rabbi Yonatan Nerel asks, What provoked God to carry out the most serious environmental catastrophe in human history and wipe out virtually all terrestrial creatures? The rabbis of the Talmud teach that the judgment was sealed because of the sin of robbery, Hamas. Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch teaches that Hamas, or wrongdoing, is a wrong that is too petty to be caught by human justice, but if committed continuously, can gradually ruin your fellow man. Apparently, people in Noah's generation went to the market and stole a peanut here, a raisin there. With no one being tried for stealing minuscule amounts, store owners suffer significant losses and may have to shut down. No one desires or intends to cause such an outcome. It occurs due to the small-scale misconduct of many individuals put together. Today, perhaps the greatest risk of humans destroying the world comes not from those with the intent to do so, but rather from the collective unintentional actions of billions of people. Seemingly inconsequential actions are taking dramatic effect. We are little by little compromising the ecological balance on which we and future generations will depend for our survival. For the first time in human history, we now have the ability to destroy or radically alter all terrestrial life. Unlike the other people in his generation, Noah took responsibility by building the ark, bringing the animals into it, and taking care of them during the flood. Rabbi Hirsch explains that the value of preserving diversity is a deeper meaning of the rainbow. The colors are symbolic of different types of living beings. Yet, God unites them all together in one common bond of peace, all fragments of one life, all refracted rays of the one Spirit of God. The rainbow, therefore, testifies to the diversity of life that God created. We continue with Vishamru. We must also guard the Shabbat in addition to our earth.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et hashabat la'asot et hashabat לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
And we continue with the tefillah, the standing prayer for which we'll probably be sitting.
Adonai, Sifatai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sifatai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol v'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imaot Umevi Kulam Lifnei Bneihem Leman Shemo B'Yahava. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ויצרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך דופים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. ומחייהם אמונתו לשני עפר, מחמוך בעל גבורה, ומדו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We continue with a moment of silence. We conclude the tefillah with a prayer for peace. Shalom Rav, a great peace.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim, tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim, tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim, tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim, tasim le'olam. V'tov b'einecha levarech el amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim, tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim, tasim le'olam. Tasim, tasim le'olam.
We take a moment now to think about those in need of healing, whether of body, of mind, or of spirit. We think of congregants and friends and family of congregants, Jonathan Davidson, Brenda Oppenheim, Kenny Hayes, Randy Rubin, Ben Henderson, Les Diskin, Kara Gilman, Rabbi Steve Robbins, Gloria Mangus, Steve Lux, David Kurland, Robin Kurland, Sandy Schneider, Jan Judman, Emily Pasquarelli, Julie Lapidus, Irv Richards, Pamela Mangus, Barbara Brandt, Johnny Sickhat, Aharon Pincus. And if you'd like to add names, please do so either in the chat or you can unmute yourselves. And I will read some other names that have come through. Sandra Stokely, Casey Olson, Ron Jones, Ruth and Sandra Landis, Rhonda Moss, Mike Sweeney, Sonia Diaz, Dyden Anderson, Rockio Offstein, Amy Morton, Casey McCarthy, Kim Coe, Raul Camacho, Hazan Joel Smith, please join us in the Misha Berach, the prayer for healing.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekol HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe berach imotenu b'kol habracha li'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I'm very pleased this evening to introduce our guest speaker. Sarah is the program director of Jewish Veg, a national nonprofit that inspires and assists Jews to adopt plant-based diets as an expression of Jewish values. She's a graduate of Brandeis University and a current rabbinical student at Aleph Alliance for Jewish Renewal. So welcome, Sarah. We're looking forward to your talk.
Hello, thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for having me with you tonight. I have to say it's still a little strange for me to be doing services online. I don't know if everyone else has gotten used to it and it's just me, but I wouldn't be able to be here if we weren't on Zoom because I'm in Massachusetts. So there are always silver linings. So I want to give everyone a moment just to stretch, take a breath. Sitting and being on Zoom for hours at a time can be really hard on your body. So if everyone just wants to take a moment, do a little stretch, maybe take a deep breath. In the Garden of Eden, Adam names the animals. Adam, Ha-Adam, the earthling, made from Ha-Adamah, the earth. God brings the animals before Adam, and we read, and whatever the human called a living creature, that was its name. In the garden, Adam eats the fruits of the trees, the seeds of the herbs, the fruits of the earth. The animals, too, eat berries and greens, lie peacefully with each other in the shade of the trees. And God sees this, the peace and wholeness and harmony of the garden, and it is very good. This is our creation story, the very first story of our people. We begin from a place of peaceful coexistence where the human and the animals know and respect one another, where space is freely shared, and in case this isn't clear yet, everyone is vegan. Even after we are expelled from the garden, we do not lose our connection with the nafshot chayot, the living souls that are the animals, our fellow creatures of the earth and fellow creations of God. And then we come to the flood. Imagine what it would take for God, God the creator and artist, God the parent and patient teacher, to decide that their creation had devolved so far as to be unsustainable. Every year in reading this portion, I am struck anew by the despair in the narration, and Adonai regretted having made the human on earth and was pained to the heart. God's regret is powerful, potent. God's grief that this creature created in their image should be capable of such brutality and evil is then concretized in the endless, wailing rains of the flood. The flood, this external manifestation of God's despair, destroys God's own creation. But God carries hope still in Noah and in the animals he brings with him into the ark. Over the year that they lived together in this ultimate quarantine, Noah and Naamah and their family tend to the animals with compassion and care. And God makes a promise to themselves that they will never allow their grief to destroy the world again. But God's pain is not resolved or healed. God has lost faith in the ability of humankind to live up to their original expectations. According to Rav Kook, the first chief rabbi of British Mandate Palestine, given the violence and depravity of the generation of the flood, it was necessary to make allowances for humanity's moral frailty. After the flood, God lowered the standards of morality and justice he expected of humanity. In Genesis 9:3, we read, "And the dread and fear of you shall be upon all the beasts of the field and all the fowl of the heavens, in all that crawls on the ground and in all the fish of the sea. In your hand they are given. All stirring things that are alive, yours shall be for food, like the green plants I have given all to you. But flesh with its lifeblood still in it, you shall not eat." How far we have come from the garden. Ha-Adam, who named the animals, who was their companion and friend, now holds their lives in his hand. The relationship of peace is sundered. God's dream, the garden that is very good, is no more. In God's grief, in God's despair, they bow to the moral failings of their creation. In the words of Rav Joseph Soloveitchik, one of the major figures in modern Orthodoxy and in 20th century Jewish thought, man-animal became a life killer, an animal eater. He became bloodthirsty and flesh-hungry. Is the Torah very happy about this change? Somehow we intuitively feel the silent, tragic note that pervades the whole chapter. The Torah was compelled to concede defeat to human nature that was corrupted by man himself. But, as Rav Kook goes on to say, this concession was only ever meant to be temporary. God does not lose all faith. Even as they say, "I have given all to you," they immediately continue, "But flesh with its lifeblood still in it, you shall not eat." This is the very first restriction on what we as a people are and are not allowed to eat. Later, these laws will be expanded further into the basic foundation of kashrut as we know it in Leviticus. More laws follow in Deuteronomy, and more laws still in rabbinical exegesis. And all of them, every single law of kashrut, bar none, is a restriction on eating animals and animal products. We are forbidden from eating certain animals, from certain parts of certain animals, from certain preparations of certain parts of certain animals, and on and on. The point of this is clear. Eating animals is inherently problematic. There are no restrictions on the seeds and fruits, the green plants of Ha-Adam in the garden. but taking the life of an animal is a spiritual descent. In the words of prominent 15th century Rabbi Yosef Albo, killing animals involves cruelty and anger and rage. Eating meat makes the soul thick, murky, and occluded. Rabbi Albo, Rav Soloveitchik, and Rav Kook are just three of many highly renowned Jewish leaders who emphasize the Torah imperative of a plant-based diet. Our spiritual, religious, and ethical tradition is more than consistent with a vegan ideology, it demands it. In the book of Isaiah, we read that in the Messianic era, this original vegan diet will be fully reestablished. The wolf and the lamb shall dwell together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain. In other words, if even the carnivores are vegan, you can bet that the humans are going to be. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain. God's hope for humankind is to break free of a pattern of destruction. As God's grief moved them to destroy the world in despair, so their hope remains vibrant and vital, that the dream, the peace of the garden, can be restored. But Judaism is not a passive tradition. We don't sit and wait for change to happen to us. We have the ability and the responsibility to make the world as we want it to be. The story of Noah presents to us essential truths, that in despair, we destroy, but in hope, we have endless potential for peace. As with Noah and the flood, how we act in the world affects how the world acts on us. When we give in to cynicism and despair, when we revoke our own power as agents of change, we invite in the wailing waters of the flood. Or in today's metaphors, the rising tides, the poisoned groundwaters, the drying of the rivers, the promise God made to never again destroy the world is a promise that we as a people need to reflect back to God. And with animal agriculture as one of the leading causes of climate change and environmental damage, including greenhouse gas emissions, deforestation and land usage, pollution and excessive water use, and on, it all starts with how we eat. In the time of a flood, it can be hard to have faith. I'm sure Noah and Naamah spent many nights on the ark, feeling the weight of the world beneath them, mourning all they had known, terrified of the unknowns and all that was to come. But though they lived imperfectly, they lived. The world does not need perfection from us, but it needs us to care enough, to have hope enough to try. And we don't have to try alone. Community is a core value of Judaism, which carries us through all of our floods. At Jewish Veg, our Plant Pathways program is a community-centric approach to change. We support and hold each other in choosing whatever path works best for each of us, knowing that there are many and that each is vital. We will also be holding a discussion on Sunday, November 1st, coincidentally World Vegan Day, on how the Temple Beth El community can move forward with supporting personal and planetary health through increased vegan options. We live in a time of historic plenty, with so many paths forward. We work together to see which one is right for you. As a Jewish people, our relationship with the animals and with the earth has not healed from this moment of the flood. We have for so long allowed our despair to defeat us, to keep us from what we know is right. But we are a people who believe in repair and tikkun. We are a people who hold faith in righteousness and in living well in the world. We must too hold faith in ourselves. We are capable of weathering great storms. We are capable of creating great change. Like Ha'adam in the garden, we can see the souls of the animals, of ourselves, of each other, and know that they are very good. We can call our courage and our kindness and our commitment by their names. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Obviously, you will make a wonderful rabbi. I'm glad you're studying to be one. And as Sarah mentioned, on November 1st, which is a week from Sunday at 2:00, we will have a further discussion about this issue. And David Crone, our president-elect, will be joining us as well. So I'd like to just open this up to, we're not having a discussion about it right now. We'll have that discussion on Sunday, but just to see if anybody has anything they would like to share, a special moment that they lived through this past week, something to celebrate.
Rabbi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, because my video is frozen. So as long as you can hear me, we're good.
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
I celebrated my 37th birthday on Tuesday, and I celebrated a milestone on Wednesday, my 12 years of sobriety.
Hey, Mazel Tov. That's great.
Mazel tov.
And Cantor Bob's going to have a steak tonight for dinner. I guess that's his exciting news for the week, right? Also, we had a wonderful class last night that Doug Moss gave us, Dr. Doug Moss, on language. And that will continue for 2 more weeks on Thursday evening at 7. And if you missed it, it's on our YouTube channel, as is everything. All our classes, all our special sessions, our holidays, our Shabbat services. I've asked Dr. Martin Schlusselberg to return and do a session on COVID for us. At the moment, I have him in December because we've got so much going on right now that I figure we want to wait until things are calmer. But I sent out an email asking if anybody has any questions. A few of you have responded, but if you have specific questions you'd like him to answer, that's what he's asked for. And we'll probably do it as well on a Thursday evening. And then I'm also going to be teaching an Introduction to Judaism class again, starting in January. So if you know people who are interested in taking that class, it's a class, it could be for Jews who want to know more about Judaism, non-Jews who want to know something about Judaism. And then if people are interested in conversion, we will also work with them on that. And I see Juan is with us tonight, Juan Moriel, who is going to the Beit Din next week. Doesn't have to go too far. All he has to do is turn on his computer because that's how we're doing it these days. And then he'll go to the mikvah in November. So that's very, very exciting. And Teresa, I think, is behind a dark screen. I think she's on. I can't see everybody's name, but I saw her before. Teresa is also going before the Beit Din. Oh, there. Yeah, Teresa. Yeah, we can't see her. We'll see a picture of her husband. But Teresa's going to the Beit Din as well, and to the mikvah. And Miranda, who's not on tonight, she's a young woman, is not only going next week to the Beit Din, but she's going to do a natural immersion in the water of Newport Beach. So that should be fun. I mean, it's a semi-private area, first of all, so that's the first fun part. And then it's probably freezing cold, but it'll be an I've never been to an actual natural tevilah, so that should be really interesting. So as of a few weeks from now, we'll have a whole bunch of new Jews. Okay, anybody else? Any announcements? Going once, going twice.
Rabbi, just a quick aside. Dr. Marshall Falk, who was simultaneously speaking at Desert Outreach Synagogue when we were watching both services, she asked us to please greet you. So please know that she sends her love and best from,
Thank you.
From Berkeley.
Thank you so much. She's working on a new Haggadah, so that should be interesting. Yes.
That would be wonderful.
Yes. All right, we continue with the Aleinu. And we can't see Jim, but we can hear him.
I hope so. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ללוצר בראשית.
Jordan. Hello, Jordan.
שלא עשנו כגאי ארצות ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שהונות השמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת זו בקווי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד. כך כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We now take a moment to think of those who are no longer with us. May their memories be for a blessing. We offer our condolences to Randy Lester Wilson and his family on the passing of his aunt, Dina Eliason. And we're observing Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning, for Ozell Walton and for Sean Donnelly, friend of Stephen Tick. And if anyone has a name they'd like to share who is in the first 30 days or the first year of mourning, please share that in the chat or unmute yourselves.
Becky Long.
Evelyn Nathanson.
Adele Lucas and
Arnie
Geller. First year John Alfervic, Helen Iniguez, Susan Jones, first year. Gary Ferris. And we're observing yard sites this Shabbat for Glenn Aiken, Sandra Victor, Leo Cannell, Fritz Perez Stroman, Irving Hirsch, Faith Prince, Georgia Blumfeld, Renee Goldstein, Donald Hartley, Christina Martin Perlstein, Rose Oshenko, Randy Stanford, Samuel Fiddleholtz, Judy Kushner, Ruth Young, Bella Weiss, Adele Stein, David Kirshner, Simon Phillips Keir, Murray H. Blumenfeld, Hy Rosen, Samuel Rosen, Winfield Clark, Kopel Bauman, Lawrence J. Finkel, Isidore Posner, Mary Burnson, Jahiel Kelber. And if you have any names to share for yard sites, please do so. Also first year, Kalik Diaz, Reverend Jane Carl, Elaine Marcus, Reverend Theatlis Rieger, Julie Eliason, Dr. Bob Levy. Are there any other yard sites? And for the Mourner's Cottage, please feel free to unmute yourselves. And for those that it's too loud, please just lower your volume. Yikadal, V'Kadash, Hey Rabba. Be'alma Difrach Hey, Alon Almay Almaya, Bach Ar Amanase, Laela Min Tabashirata, Alma Ose Shalom Bimromav, Ya Ase Shalom, Aleinu, It is source of peace and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say.
Amen. Amen.
So our closing song is a song for peace. I just want to make a note about the composer. It's Shlomo Carlebach. And I just want to mention that some synagogues no longer use his music because he committed various sexual indiscretions. And it's one of those tough situations where, where do you draw the line? Because how many people who are artists and, pundits and politicians and writers, and we're all human. And if we had to excise every single person, who's committed some indiscretion and excise them from our canon and from the kind of music and the kind of prayers we use, we wouldn't have too many people left. So it's a kind of controversial issue. And I want to acknowledge that as we conclude the service with one of his songs. It's an open question. So his daughter has recorded the song with Josh Nelson, and we're going to hear how Jim Orens interprets it. And
I want to acknowledge the fact that I know about the controversy. Nevertheless, the words speak to me. We are in the middle of this pandemic, and we have a highly controversial election ahead of us. And we look right, we look left, we look in front, we look behind us, and we're looking for answers. And Yehi Shalom, let there be peace. Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin in me. Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin in me. For love is all we need. Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin in me. For love is all we need. Yehi Shalom Bechele Shalva Be'armenotayich 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 Yadai, 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 yadai. Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin in me, for love is all we need. Let there be peace on earth. Let it begin in me, for love is all we need.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jim. Before we go on to the Motzi, I'd like to thank Jim Orens for your beautiful music this evening. I want to thank my husband, Jordan, for working the tech behind the scenes. And I want to thank Sarah for a wonderful Devar Torah that will give us a lot of food for thought. So let us conclude with the motzi.
Food for thought.
Yep.
With a steak. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. B'te'avon.
Avon. Thank you so much. And, if anybody wants to hang out a little bit to chat, since we don't get to see each other too often, please feel free to chat. Good pun. I didn't mean the pun, but thank you.
Well, I'm going to have a salad for dinner afterwards, actually.
I thought you were having steak.
No, that was my usual unusual sense of humor.
Oh, I'm so dumb. I just got it.
Sarah, that was a wonderful talk.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah, by the way.
And very, very
on top of everything else, Sarah is in Massachusetts, as you mentioned. So it's almost.
I want to know how Brandeis is now.
Well,
because I went there long 61 years ago.
Oh, wow. Yay. From my community. Yeah, it's, they got rid of the castle. So this, I know. I lived in the castle my sophomore year. And then after I left, they got rid of it.
They took down the castle?
I mean, to be fair, my next door neighbor in the castle, like part of the roof fell on them. So probably something needed to happen. But
it was old, but nevertheless, it was such a part of the campus. Oh my goodness.
I know,
guys, it was a real castle.